Hey, everybody. This is Diane Brandon Moody, and I'm back again with another episode of 50 Something Love, the podcast who is for all of the genius women over 50. We let men listen too. It's okay. Sometimes we want men to listen. We won't bar you from that as if we could if we wanted to. But anyway, we're glad to have you. I am very excited to introduce this guest. Her name is Sharon Jenkins, and she is the creator of 50 Plus in Flirty Summit that's coming up. And just in time for the end of Black History Month, I am woohoo! I am so delighted to welcome Sharon, and we're going to get into it more. I want to hear so much more about the summit, how you got there, about you, and maybe we can explain how we just connected so well, because I already think you're one of my besties.
I feel like a bestie. I love it. I love it. Well, about the summit idea, I read some statistics about dating after 50, and I was like, oh no. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, how do you fix something that's broken? You come up with viable solutions. So I'm a strong supporter of people finding love in their later years. It might have a little something to do with the fact that I'm in my later years, but I've always been a romantic and I've always wanted the best for people, especially when it comes to love. I think finding your one or making a connection that causes a romantic explosion, there's nothing like it on the face of the earth except for a mom's love, or you know what I mean. So
Yeah, yeah, I do very well.
So I didn't want to become a dating service, but what I did want to do is become an informational portal for people who are navigating the dating pool or who are interested in the dating pool or dating again, or they might be married and they've been married for a while and they forgot all about how to date. So we want to be 50 plus at flirty. Well, our aim, not want to be, because we've already started the initiative. This thing is a movement. We've decided that we want to be that informational portal.
That is fantastic. I'm delighted to say that invited me to be on this summit as a speaker, and I tell all about our magical story because I do this podcast and I do the work I do for many of the same reasons that people are told by society that they're just too old at this point. Nobody's going to go for you at this point. I got married for the first time and hopefully the only time at age 58. So it happens. And I tell about that a little bit in the summit. So I thank you very much for having a portal because people can get so much information. Tell us a little bit about some of the activities that you have ongoing on in this summit.
Well, initially, we had plans to do 3 summits that focus on dating. This is the first summit, scheduled for March the 17th through the 21st. We have 16 speakers, including yours truly. And we just have some wonderful things happening. We have matchmakers, dating coaches, mental health professionals, psychologists, and we're just and we got folks who just talk about you and being the best you that you can possibly be. And maybe not so much in being a dating magnet, but showing up and being clear about who you are and what you want in this phase of your life. So think about this. When you were 18, 19, 20, your goals were quite different from what they would be now if you were widowed or if you were recently divorced or separated. So it gives you an opportunity to go back and really look at this is what I want and how do I get it in today's modern dating world? What tools do I need to brush off or acquire so that I can have the best possible dating experience ever? So, this summit will concentrate on information. And also, we have a magazine. So, you'll get to, after the summit is over, you'll get to run your fingers through the pages and get more information. Okay. And then I love sewing into young people. So, this semester, which started in January, I have a writing intern, and she was tasked with writing a ebook for seniors or people who are 50 plus and above and want to date. Excellent writer. I was so impressed. And I've been in this industry, the writing industry, for almost 20 years, and I know what a
Wow.
good writer looks like. And
Yeah.
so she wrote this book. Now, keep in mind, she's a senior in college. So
Congrats.
yes, and she had to go and do her research because she hasn't had the mature experience. When I mean that, 40, 50, 60, 70.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we have that going on. And then we did some snapshots, Diane, of people who found each other later on in their lives. And by the way, I want to do you and your hubby.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
we've had such good, how can I say it, engagement with one particular video we did, Pierre and Rhonda, and they were all the way live. That's all I can say. And so we're building a YouTube channel, and if you want to see our love stories, or if you want to find out more information about what 50 plus and flirty is all about, you want to go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So the goal is simply to help you make the right decision for you when it comes to dating and to not be influenced by, the society or your particular people group.
Right.
Really look inside and say, hey, um, I didn't like that when I was coming up, but they said to do it. Well, now you can say, this is what I like, and this is what I want. And we want to help you do that in a freedom that's not traditionally been ours.
Right. I have come across several women in the last couple of weeks, and, like they'll say something to the effect of, well, the date again. I mean, I've done it. I'm done with it. Well, that's fine. I mean, we are in a stage of the world where you don't have to date. Then there are some women who make it into a binary decision that either they're dating to get married or they're not dating at all. And again, we're not in that world anymore. You don't have to date in because you have a goal of being married. I did. I wanted to be, but not everybody has that as a goal. You
Mhm.
can see each other once or twice a week and go back to your own house if that's what you're really into. I mean, we have so many choices as women in this world these days. So we just don't need any of these rules from, beyond long time ago. We just don't have to do it. I think knowing what you want is so, so important.
Absolutely. And how can I say it? Just getting rid of all that stinking thinking. Oh, I'm too old, or I'm too fat, or I'm sagging here and things ain't where they used to be, and all that crazy. Nobody wants me. Girl, that ain't true. That is not true. Fella, they love you with hair or without hair. They love you with the belly or without the belly. Who are you? That's what they want to fall in love with. The genuine, authentic person that you are.
That is so true. I have a theory that I think really proved true when I was dating, although it's anecdotal, it's not scientific, but I really believe that the way a woman feels about herself is really what men fall for.
Mhm.
Now, if it comes in, the incredible body and the beauty and all that other stuff, yay. But really think that if you have a less than perfect body, and let's face it, who after 50 doesn't, you know, I mean, seriously, who is that person? Um, they're really falling for how you feel about yourself. It's
Mhm.
not as much about the external things like it was when we were 20. When we were 20, we were all gorgeous. We may not have known it, but we were.
I
And
didn't know it, Diane. I didn't know it. And I look back at those old pictures and I'm like, I was hot.
I was too. I just didn't. Well, there were times I thought it true, but it wasn't all the time. So, and men, this goes for you too. I can't speak for every woman alive. I just can't. Most women want to know more about you, about your heart, about your soul, about your brain, the way you think, how you show up for people. The guy who's kind will win over the guy who's an MM fighter who came after me on TikTok this week. I'm so much better. I'm an MMA fighter. Guess what? I don't give a shit. I don't care who you are. Like you're treating me like an asshole right now. So I'm guessing you're pretty much an asshole. So we're much more into how you treat us at this age than we are to if you have the six pack or being an MMA fighter. It's so hard for me to say, but it's just not that important anymore.
And the beauty of walking in this liberty is that you get to do a deep dive into that person. That person gets to really show up in their authenticity. And I know I've mentioned that before, but I want people to think about the fact that when you breed happiness, when you are okay with who you are, what skin you're in, when all those things are, working together, yes, that makes you more attractive. But the person that you're looking for, the main thing that they need to be in concert with you about is how do you want to live your latter days? How
Right.
do you want the rest of your life to be the best of your life? That's the thing. If you're looking for a partner to join arms with, to have some fun with, I mean, that's wonderful. That is so wonderful.
Absolutely. I think that's great. I think one of the things that sold me on my husband so early on is he is just a very, very kind man. He treats, he's nice to telemarketers. I swear to God, when they call, I'm on one end of the phone going, "Oh, fuck off," and he's He's in there saying, "Not today, thanks. You have a blessed day." Like,
Oh,
he's even nice to telemarketers, but he's nice to me. He's nice to my mother, who's moved in with us recently. He's very nice to her. He plays cards with her 3 times a day. He volunteers taking seniors to doctor's appointments during the week. I mean, he's just a very nice man. And that goes so far. And men seem to be under the impression that it doesn't. I mean, I'm talking global, not individual men, but globally, they still seem to think that they have to be in the top 10%, whether that's income or looks or whatever, in order to get very far. And I just don't think that's true. What do you think?
well, at this age, sweetheart, look, most women have retired well, okay? And or at least they have retired normally. In essence, they can handle taking care of themselves. So that being in the top 10 or top 1% might be nice, but it's not, in my perspective, it's not what the woman is looking for. She's not looking for a sugar daddy. She's looking for companionship. She's looking
Hmm.
for somebody who is kind, like you said, and sincere, and gets her, is attracted to her, or
Right,
gets him, is attracted to him. Okay?
right.
Yes. So if you got a hefty bank account, that sweetens the deal, but it's not the main factor for women our age.
No, I don't think so. There was yet again another. I had one of my TikTok accounts kind of blew up over the week, which was nice. There was some more traffic, but one guy was saying, "Well, what are you guys going to do when the septic tank gets clogged? Like, hire a plumber? What would you do?" I mean, like, seriously, are you out there digging through the septic tank? Come on. Like, the idea is that women are so helpless at this age. That's why they need a man. No, that's not why we need a man. We're not helpless. We want him for companionship, for love, for physicality, for sex, for whatever it is that's going on. We want them for that whole package. But I can get my own oil changed. I wasn't I was 58 before I got married the first time, and you think I never got oil changed? Like, I've managed. So
So
anyway,
I think we all need an updated mind. And that's why 50 plus and flirty is so in season, because we help you change your mind about some of these antiquated ideas. Okay.
right, right.
Yeah, some wisdom is good. No knocking wisdom here, but also these stuck in the mud, kind of ditch, kind of fall in the ditch kind of ideas that keep you stuck in a place and not moving forward. That's our goal, is to be like a magnet and pull you out of those places into the modern dating world for people 50 plus and above. And that's why we went after people like Diane and, you know, we got some dating coaches and matchmakers, and we're not afraid of controversy. Now, we don't want the stinking stuff, but we're not afraid of controversy. I have a gentleman who has written about relationships. He's a New York Times bestseller author. He's been in the industry for over 20 years, and some of his ideas about relationships aren't quite digestible. I'll put it that way.
Hmm.
But when you hear someone like that, Diane, that helps you decide a couple of things. Interesting perspective, but I think it's dated. Or you might say, ooh, I feel that way. And it didn't quite feel right to feel that way, or doesn't quite feel right to feel that way anymore. So,
Hmm.
we want you to have some fun. But we want you to have some clean fun. We don't want you running to and from the doctor because you was bed hopping and switching to this one. And we don't want all that for you. If you want genuine love, that's one thing. But if you want to do that stuff, that's on you because you want to swing. Okay? That's all. But that ain't our goal. We try to put you in a place where you can really have the love that you desire. And for some women, because of the mores of our days, this will be your opportunity to find that genuine, authentic love that seemed to escape you so many years ago. Don't give up. That's what we're saying. Get empowered, informed, and you know what? Get ready to jump the broom. This is Black History Month, so I would say that. Jump the broom, baby. If that's what you want to do, jump the broom. Hey, and for those ladies out there who, you're kind of like Dolly Parton, you got your plastic surgeon on call. That's okay too. I mean, if you 70 and you want a 50-year-old body, or you're 50 and you want a 30-year-old body, do what you got to do, baby. That makes you feel good about you. That's the moral of this.
Right, right.
But if you okay with where you are, what you look like, and we encourage you to be okay with that in this season and time. I believe wholeheartedly that you can have that love that you always dreamed of having. I really do. Or else I wouldn't be doing all this interviewing people, Diane, doing these
Yeah.
ads. I'm doing ads. I'm encouraging my speakers to promote them. This is a major undertaking. This
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, this ain't no joke, baby. We're serious about helping you. And that's it. And look, I know there's some craziness going on in the country, and there's a whole bunch of division and crazy. Let me tell you something, baby. Sometimes you gotta look over the fence to get what you're looking for. Don't put yourself in a box, okay? Don't let the culture dictate to you what you can and cannot have, because you deserve
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
deserve it.
Preach. Preach.
Yeah. And we got somebody coming to talk about interracial dating. Okay. And we got somebody, and I won't tell you who, you'll have to show up to find out, who is writing a book, an ebook for Black women who, traditionally have been not US based, but encouraging them to go to foreign lands and look for men who are looking for them, baby. Okay?
Ah,
Yeah, you
little controversy there.
yes. So you know what? You might have to change your geographical area. I'm talking about in regards to your search.
Right, right,
You
right.
you 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 might have to take that list that you got with 50 different things on it and minimize it to 10. Find the things that you really are looking for and be tenacious as a pit bull until you see those things in someone. And another thing, Diane, you ready for this?
Hit me. Hit me.
Baby, you don't have to date everybody that comes your way.
No, you don't.
You just because somebody says, "Ooh, you cute. Ooh, you gorgeous." Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
be discerning. Yeah, be
Yeah.
discerning. We want you to
Yeah.
stay safe and sane. Safe
Exactly.
and sane and single until you're ready to jump the broom.
I think it's so good to stretch the muscle of knowing the difference between discernment and fear, because it's so common, at least in the people that I've worked with, that they'll talk about fear, you know, and they confuse it with discernment and or their intuition. Um, and intuitively, like, I heard the message to put that ad on Craigslist. Most of my listeners have heard that story, and I did it immediately because I knew the difference at that point, and I also knew which ones to let go and where to keep looking. But it's very easy to hear your intuition and dismiss it as fear, or the other way around. Like, if your intuition is really telling you don't go out with that guy, then don't waste your time. There could be all kinds of reasons why it at minimum is a waste of your time, but more it could be like, he's a mess and you really need to stay away from him. So you can't just always push through thinking it's your intuition. Sometimes you just really need to learn how to do that. I go over that with my clients quite a bit. It's just very important to know the difference.
Absolutely. But you also need to not only be discerning, but you also need to be really steadfast in your thinking about what you want. And that helps eliminate a lot of the fakers or the
Right, right. Oh,
okay.
right.
Yeah. If you know you and you know, oh, and you know what you don't want. If you know you live in Miami or Tampa, and this guy in Australia is hitting your dating profile, and he's so gorgeous, you say, "Ooh, I want to give him a chance because he's into me, and I will definitely be into him. He looks like Brad Pitt." Wait a minute. What happened to your common sense? You need to be looking for somebody, you know, who's a little bit closer to you. And be careful about these babies, the little 30-year-olds and the
Yeah.
little 20-year-olds that say, "Ooh, I'm into older women." Please, for a sugar mama. And babe,
Yeah.
let me be honest, Diane. For your listeners, if you want to be a sugar mama, add it. Do it. But if you're looking for a genuine relationship, and I'm not saying younger men aren't into older women, but look at the odds.
Right.
Okay? Look at the odds.
I would also add to your example of Miami and Australia. I have found over my lifetime, and people know that I was a moderator on a website that was curated by, probably at the time, the world's most famous um, relationship coach. And so I talked to hundreds of people over 10 years, and there were so many people that were doing long distance, like Miami to Australia, thinking they were in a relationship. And they would come on the website complaining about this, that, or the other. It would be some really small thing, like, I've been trying to reach him for 2 days. He hasn't got back to me. And when I drill down and ask all the questions, it'd be like, wait, you're in Miami and he's in Australia. How many times do you see each other? Well, we haven't actually met yet. Oh, honey, this is not a relationship. This is a fantasy. Real. Come on.
Yeah.
That happened several times. And even if you had met somebody who lived in Australia, and he was really cute. You've got to get real with yourself. Like, how often can you possibly see each other when that's going on? You can't. And so I think that um, it's very much a way of keeping yourself safe, but it doesn't work. It keeps you safe from love. It also keeps you safe from being disappointed because he's so far away. But, you know, you've got to watch stuff like that. I think most of the time, long distance relationships are not helpful at all for that reason, that they're just a way of keeping yourself safe, but in a backwards way. So,
And the other thing, Diane, I wanted to bring up before I forget, because you know what, I'm not a young chick, and I don't mind nobody that ain't a young chick, and I'm just not. But if we have lived this long, we all have baggage.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Okay. You have to decide what kind of baggage you can live with for the rest of
right,
your life. Really.
right, right,
Really, if you were looking for marriage, okay, or if you're looking for companionship. I noticed that there are people who are meeting up, and some of them are even marrying and living in separate households, like you mentioned before. Well, you gotta come to those kind of conclusions before you say I do or I will, because
right,
the I
right,
do is the room jumping conversation, and the I will is, you've decided that you've given permission to be in this kind of relationship.
right. I think there's all kinds of possibilities for out there for everybody, and everybody just needs to be in agreement as to what that's going to look like. It just has to be an agreement, because otherwise you're up for a world of hurt. So it just needs to be agreement.
And one
So,
thing I will share, Diane, another thing before I forget. Um, I've been doing some studying. I looked at a whole season of Pop the Balloons, and on Instagram, there are numerous dating coaches, and they have different theories and they give different kind of advice, plus the sessions that 50 plus and Flirty have done. We've done outside of the summit. We've had a matchmaker come on who's with South Carolina matchmaker. She's been in the industry for over 26 years. We had her come on. And then we had a panel discussion with about four matchmakers and a mental health professional. And then we did a panel with men only. And the topic was what men want women to know about dating. And last but not least, we made a mad attempt at furbishing the dating game. And one day I'll tell you about that experience, but I will make it short for your listeners. We found out that men are being dictated by the women in their lives, so much so for the one panel where the men were talking about what women should know about dating. The men were scared to come on the panel, Diane, because they were scared
oh no.
women would see them and think the wrong thing about them. Isn't that something?
Oh wow. That's that's sad.
It's weird. And then with the dating game simulation, the men wanted you to do vetting of the females, and they had to know exactly who they were, what they did, as much information as possible. But when you and I look back at the old dating game, nobody knew anything about anybody. It was a game.
Right, right, right.
like you play checkers or Monopoly, or you know what I mean. And so we have seen some interesting phenomena. I, in my research, have seen some interesting phenomena. And baby, if you are entering this dating game now, the truth of the matter is be informed, inspired, and empowered, and be self centered because you deserve to have what you want and don't settle.
Right, right. Yeah. And self-centered, I'm assuming what you mean by that is very centered in yourself.
Yes.
You're not saying selfish as in
Oh,
entitled,
oh,
because I
oh.
know that's one of men's biggest beefs about women that, come off as entitled, that the guy's paying for everything because she's special and, all that. Entitlement, ladies, does not work in dating. It
Mm-mm,
doesn't. You've got to be a real human. You have to be a nice person. You have to realize that a guy asking you out is doing a nice thing. I mean, even if the date doesn't work out, he's still asking you out, and that deserves some respect.
and be kind to one another.
Right, right.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, your viewers probably have seen the Later Daters series.
They probably have. Yeah, I talked about the Golden Bachelorette there for a while, and honestly, it just bores me, so I quit talking. But go ahead about later daters.
I spent a whole Saturday all day long looking at every episode. Research, research, research. I want your viewers to know that we're not just concocting these ideas, we're actually doing our research so that we can come up with a viable program that will really make a difference in your dating search. But I looked at the later daters and I saw so many things. Like this one guy came to the restaurant to meet the young to meet the sensational sexy woman. And the beauty of it was she maintained her composure, but he put it out on the table. He's looking for a sex partner. Well, that's what he wanted the world to know because they were on live television. I share that with you because I don't know if that was the proper posture, you know, in regards to your initial conversation with someone. Okay. And I don't know, Diane, you tell me. You're the expert.
Well, I did a social media post about this just yesterday. 3 days ago, I did a post about scams, common scams in dating. And I've gotten like 23,000 views on that so far, and it's still going. And so I did one on how to fail at dating, on online dating for men, and one on women. And for the men, one thing I said is bringing up sex too soon. That was, a lot of times they bring it up in the initial conversation. And I mean, yay for bringing it up, I guess, if that's the way you want to be. But I can pretty much guarantee that most women don't want that. They don't want to talk about it right off the bat. And the reason is, let's face it, there have been a lot of women over millennia who have been used for sexual purposes, and only that. We want to know you like us, like who we are before sex happens. That's just the biology of being a woman. That's the way we are. So if I guess if you're going to put it out there that boldly and that, then you're going to have to be ready for a whole lot of no's, because most of them will be no's. I recommend that it not be brought up until she brings it up, or the third date, whichever comes first. Because I understand a lot of reasons that men bring this up is if they're on their second marriage or more. or several relationships that women after a certain age, unless they're very good at it, they may have less sexual interest. And so they probably haven't had it in a while. And that's why he's bringing it up so soon. But it's a mistake. If you want to have anything lasting with a woman, that's just a mistake. And for the women, how to fail at online dating, one of the things I said was entitlement. Act like you're so special and you deserve so much and you deserve everything. You do, but this is not the conversation you have right off the bat. When you have that conversation or act like you're just so much better than the guy, that just rubs them the wrong way. That just screams, I want you for your money. And even though we just had a conversation about how most women don't have to be that way anymore, that's the way they hear it. They still hear it that way.
Mm.
So those are two things on there that I would say are like that. And yeah, do not bring up sex immediately. It's just not, it's not going to happen. I saw a rabbi yesterday talking about for the men that are angry because women aren't working out the way they want it to, mostly younger people. He says, you have to understand many of them have trauma perpetuated by a man. So getting angry doesn't help it. It just doesn't help it.
I think I saw that, and I was amazed that someone had the courage to have that conversation. But let me tell you a little bit more about later daters, then I'm gonna be quiet for a minute.
You don't
Um,
have to be quiet. You're the guest. You can talk all you want.
my most favorite person is a niece on later daters. And so guess what? I followed her on Instagram and she talks back.
How funny.
That is so nice. I was like, talk to a niece. I was calling people.
That's so funny. I'll have to follow that. I'll have to watch it.
Oh,
I should be
oh,
watching it and I just haven't yet.
Diane, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna be you might write another book after you.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah. There's a lot of drama out there. There's a lot of drama, TikTok is the place I see it most, but where uh, men or younger men in particular, and dare I say it, boys, because they think like boys, they're wanting a woman to take care of them as women supposedly did in the 50s. And I think we both know that the way people won't even get this comment, Beaver Cleaver's mom handled everything, June Cleaver, that was fiction, people. It was fiction. So the time life wasn't that simple. But let's pretend for a minute that that's a possibility for you, that it's possible that you can have a a wife that takes care of you like Beaver Cleaver's mom. Are you the husband of the 50s? Because you know what that means? You bring on all the money. She doesn't have to work. She has a job. Her job is at home. The job is the man. The job is the kids. She goes out to get her hair fixed once a week and have fun with the girls. They have people over and chat and get together and all of that stuff. But dude, you're the one that has to, bring in all the money. You pay for all the bills. You pay for the vacations. No, she's not going to work. You want a 50s mom? She's not going to be working because that wasn't allowed in the 50s. You don't get it both ways. Now,
Mm-mm.
there are women who want to be traditional wives. They call them trad wives on TikTok. I don't get it, but okay, if that's what you want, be it, do it. But those ladies aren't out working. They're at home doing their starter dough, whatever.
Or going to the grocery store or taking the kids to school.
Right.
Or
And
those kinds of
PTA. And
yes, yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
And,
Going to
and
craft, going to craft class or going to the gym, getting her body, keeping her body right for her husband. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, if that's what for themselves, I'm okay with that. Do whatever you want to. But for the men that are out there squawking about what they want is this kind of woman, I don't think they've thought it through
Mm-mm,
because very few of them would be able to afford taking on all of that by themselves.
mm-mm.
So anyway, that was my dark rabbit hole last night. you you were doing later daters, I was doing TikTok. I got on the dark side of TikTok for dating for a while. I was like, oh, these people need me. Get to
And
them.
and and they do. They do, Diane. They do need you. They need your sincerity, they need your experience, and they need your counsel. And so that's why we are honored to have you as part of the summit because we recognize the reality of the modern day dating experience for people 50 and above. And you do not, ladies, you don't have to settle for the fox in the chicken pen. You don't have to do that. You know, that you don't have to settle for the rooster, the one rooster in the chicken pen who's having all the fun. Okay? You don't have to settle for that. When I
I
say a
may be
fox,
stealing that line, just so you know, if you ever hear it
oh,
come out
that's
of my
okay.
mouth, I'm stealing it from you.
That's okay. So the fox represents the scammers
Hmm.
and the men who have been schooled or allowed themselves to school themselves on how to manipulate and control women. So that's the fox. Now the rooster is the one man to every 7 to 10 women. And because we see a scarcity, guess what we do?
We
We say,
experience it, yes, because we see it.
yes, yes, we compromise. But you don't have to compromise, ladies, at all.
No, not at all. Well, Sharon, this has been a blast, and I'm sure you've got stuff to do today, but I want you to tell us all about the summit one more time, just so people don't have to forget it. Tell us all the details about 50 plus and flirty.
Okay. Now, 50 plus and flirty is happening March the 17th through the 21st. We have our wonderful website where you can see all of our wonderful speakers. And guess what? We are not only going to have our speakers, but we may play a game or two. And then guess what? You get an opportunity to get a copy of the magazine, get a copy of the book, all that, and then have lifetime access if you decide you want to be a VIP. Now, I know everybody who's listening is a VIP, and Diane is going to have a little something to share with you to give you half off. Well, I might get crazy and do 75% off. Who knows? But I want you to be a VIP because you are a VIP. All right. And then not only that, you get to go to the YouTube channel and all that wonderful kind of stuff and see people who have actually, had success. Okay. And then last but not least, you get to meet fabulous me. And I am a fabulous chick with
You
a
are a fabulous chick.
big vision and all this when you go to the number 50 plus spelled out and flirty.com. Now that tells you about 50 and flirty.com, but let's go over to the summits. Hold on 1 minute. I'm getting that link together because I want you to have big fun. So, and then too, I want you to bring a friend. Shouldn't they bring a friend, Diane?
I think they should bring about 12 friends. We know
Yeah,
you know a lot of other single ladies, so you should bring them. And I will post a link in the show notes, but go ahead and
okay,
give them that information.
that's good. That's good because I think it's important. So look up 50 plus and flirty.com, and then you gotta look up 50 plus and flirty summits. And Diane's going to give you all that wonderful information. And you're going to get to see me a lot because I interview everybody.
I am looking so forward to it. It'll be so fun.
I interview everybody. And again, that is 50, the number, plus PLUS, flirtysummits.com. That's the summit URL where you get to go and get a snapshot of some of the things that we're doing at the summit. But Diane, you are such a team player. I love you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I'm delighted to be a part of it. I think this is so much fun. Um, so I am going to end this episode. Otherwise, you and I will talk all afternoon. But because this is so much fun, I'll have to have you back someday. But I did want to remind people, if you're sick of all the scams that you're getting online, you can always download my 50 Places to Meet People Over 50. It's at dianebrandonmoody.com/50, both numbers 50 dash places. And you'll be able to get my 50 places to meet people over 50, because sometimes it's just easier to meet them in person than to go through all that scammer crap. So, and then you're on my list and you'll get even more information about the summit. So, thank you again, Sharon. I have a great summit. I'm so looking forward to being a part of it and to promoting it as much as I possibly can. And this has been a blast. Thank you for being here.
You know what? It has been a blast for me. You have totally turned my day into one full of love and hugs and kisses
Oh,
and all
thank
that
you.
good stuff that makes your tummy, just feel real good and your heart sing. So thank you, Doc.
Oh, that's very sweet, and thank you so much for being available last minute. It was great to be able to talk to you, and this is my business bestie, people. So we look forward to broom jumping. I want to be there. My friend Kathy was one of my bridesmaids when I got married almost 6 years ago. Our anniversary is in 2 days. Um, and she used to tell everybody she was the world's oldest bridesmaid because she's 2 years older than I am, and I was the world's oldest first time bride. So her husband told me that they were going to have me jump over a broom, and I said, "Get out of here! I am not appropriating somebody else's thing. Go sit down. You go sit down." He's a nut. He's my favorite person, but he's a nut. So anyway, every time I want to end it, I keep talking. That is so like me. But anyway, again, thank you. And yes, we are going to get some people jumping brooms. If that's what they want to do, we're going to get them over that broom sooner rather than later. Thanks again, Sharon.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.